The New Orleans Pelicans are looking to build off last year's playoff momentum going into this upcoming season. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for this team at the start of the season. Their record through 19 games last season was a terrible 3-16, and Zion Williamson was nowhere to be found. And they were also led by a first-time head coach in Willie Green. So the outlook for this franchise wasn't looking too bright. And a couple of more months of bad basketball would have possibly positioned this team to start tanking. But Willie Green never gave up on his team. He was able to motivate them and got the best out of each and every player that stepped on the court. And so far, he's proved that he belongs where he's at right now. Despite not having their former #1 overall pick for the entire season, there were so many players on the Pelicans that stepped up and provided a consistent impact night after night. From a couple of rookies stepping up to reliable veterans proving they still got something left in the tank. Last year's playoff proved that New Orleans does have a legit home court advantage, and that's something you couldn't say for years. The Smoothie King Center was buzzing and was loud as ever during the first round of the playoffs against the Phoenix Suns. But now comes the hard part, and that's improving as a team once you've had some success in the playoffs. The Pelicans are going to have to prove that they can be consistent in a very tough Western Conference. Unfortunately for both conferences, there's going to be at least one good team left out of the 2023 NBA playoffs. Brandon Ingram has made the All-Star team once before, and he's also won the Most Improved Player award. But you could say that last season was his best so far, despite not being actually selected as an All-Star. He played 55 games last year. The Pelicans' record when he played was 29-26. He was obviously their best player last year and was able to help the team make their first playoff appearance since 2018. Against the #1 seeded Phoenix Suns, Ingram actually looked like the best player on the court. He finished with a series-high average of 27 points. He became the first Pelicans player in franchise history to score at least 30-plus points in 3 straight playoff games. Another player that was very instrumental in the success of this team was CJ McCullum, who was acquired in a midseason trade from the Trailblazers. Whether it's his leadership or experience, McCullum is a perfect fit for this team. He has played in 9 straight playoffs, and he was exactly what a young team like the Pelicans needed on and off the court. He brings professionalism and a great work ethic, and that's something young players need around him on a day-to-day basis. Even though he's a 2-guard, he will be the starting point guard for the foreseeable future. CJ has enough point guard instincts to run an NBA team, and at this point of his career, he knows when to look for his shot and when to run the offense through certain players. A lot of fans expected players like Ingram and CJ to be impact players, but rookies like Jose Alvarado and Herbert Jones caught everybody by surprise. Jose is a fan favorite. He was undrafted in 2021 and signed a 2-way contract with New Orleans, but nobody expected him to crack the rotation at any point. Willie Green finally gave him a chance in January, and in the first round of the playoffs against the Suns, he played the 3rd most fourth quarter minutes on the team. His relentless energy and attitude makes him an important player for this team and is very popular with the New Orleans fan base. Herbert Jones was the 35th pick in the 2021 NBA draft. This guy could literally win the Defensive Player of the Year award in the future. That's how good he is on defense. He has the most blocks and steals in the season for the franchise since Anthony Davis in 2013. Willie Green permanently made him a starter last season on November 24th, and he looks like he will be in the starting lineup for a long time. He's not looked at as an offensive player, but he has dramatically improved his shooting at the three-point and the free throw line compared to his college days. He could be an above-average shooter with more work. Last summer, this guy was just trying to make the roster on opening night. Now he's a bona fide starter in this league with a great reputation. But let's keep it real. This team won't be able to reach their full potential if Zion Williamson can't stay healthy. That's what it's about for this franchise right now. The Pelicans' biggest offseason news was signing Zion to a 5-year max extension to stay in the Big East. He has missed 141 games in 3 seasons. His power, his explosiveness, his soft touch around the rim, and improving shot making away from the paint makes him a generational talent, and he's just 22 years old. The question surrounding this franchise centers around his health and availability. Can Zion play as well as he did 2 seasons ago? Or will injuries continue to plague his career and keep him off the court? While this team definitely established themselves as playoff contenders last year, in a tougher Western Conference, they will need that extra boost from a player like Zion. Without Zion, the Pelicans could once again compete for a spot in the play-in tournament. Of course, that's not their end goal. If Zion is healthy, the possibilities are endless. I wouldn't say that the Pelicans are championship contenders just yet, but they are definitely headed in the right direction. I really don't see this year's first-round pick Dyson Daniels getting consistent playing time in his rookie year. Not only is he playing behind CJ McCullum, but also Jose Alvarado, and you still have Devontae Graham on the roster. This team has an excellent mix of talented young players and reliable veterans. From players I've already mentioned, to players like Jonas Valanciunas, to Jackson Hayes, to Larry Nance Jr., to Trey Murphy. I believe they have everything you need to become a legit championship contender in the future. For now, I have them being a consistent playoff team from this point forward. I have the Pelicans finishing in 7th place with a 46-36 record. This franchise has made the necessary moves to put this team in the best position to have great success. They have the elite scorers, they have the veterans, they have the defenders, and they have a good coach. All they need now is their franchise player to stay healthy. It's been a long time since we've seen Zion on the court, and he is determined to make a ferocious comeback. The Pelicans were already an exciting team without Zion last year, but you add him to the roster, and he makes them must-see TV. I don't expect a significant jump from this team in the Western Conference just yet, but this year will go a long way into finding out if this team will eventually be one of the best teams in the West in a couple of years.